Today, I'll be challenging myself to build a simple chess prototype. I'll be giving myself 3 hours. In that time, I'll create a chess board and one chess piece. I'll start with a pawn and make it move correctly following the real chess rules. Let's see if I can pull this off. To build the chess board, I started with a single cube. I gave it a simple black material. Then I created a function called make a row. Inside the function, I spawn block. I alternate colors each time. Each block stores its own row and column, numeric values from 1 to 8. Using a for loop, I duplicate this row 8 times. I alternate the colors each time. That gives me a full chessboard. Every block now knows exactly where it is. Next, I added a simple wooden base. Then I modeled a pawn directly inside Unreal Engine. Each pawn keeps a reference to the block it is standing on. When I click on a block, I know which tile is selected. When I click on the second block, I check which piece is on the first block and move it to the new block. In 3 hours, I couldn't finish the pawn movement rules. Right now, the pawn can move anywhere on the board. I imported all the chess piece 3D model and set them up. And I started by setting up the framework for chess movement logic. I created base chess piece class and then inherited from it for all the different chess pieces. Then I got distracted and started setting up things so each square spawns the correct chess piece at the start of the game. This took way longer than I expected and it ate up most of my 3 hours. For movement logic, I decided to start with the rook. And for the rook, I checked the movement in 4 different directions: up, down, left, and right. I keep going until I hit another chess piece or the edge of the board. At this point, the framework is done, and all I need now is one function, get available squares. And for each chess piece, I implement this function and everything plugs into the same system. After this, I added these dots. They show up where the selected piece can move. And for the bishop, I reuse the same idea, but instead of just adding just to the row or column, I add to both, +1 on row and column to move diagonally. Once that worked, the queen was basically free. I just combined rook and bishop logic. I copied the functions over and it started working out of the box. But pawn needed some special handling. It only moves forward and the forward depends on whether the piece is black or white. So I add a simple boolean in the base chess piece class is black. If the piece is black, I change its material. And for movement, white pawn increases the row while the black pawn decreases it. For the knight, the logic was 2 steps in one direction and 1 step in the other direction. So if it is 2 steps in row and 1 step +1 and -1 in column, because the framework was already in place, I could add all these pretty quickly. Since I still had time left, I also set up default positions for black pieces. If a piece starts on row greater than 5, I mark it as black and each black piece sets its own material. Now that the movement logic was working and all the pieces were in correct places, the last big thing left was capture logic. I already knew all the squares a piece could move to, so while calculating those moves, I also checked if there was another piece on that square, and if the piece was from the opposite side, I added it to the list of capturable pieces and highlight the piece in red. This sounds simple, but because I didn't plan this earlier, I couldn't reuse the same logic and I had to go into the movement function of every single chess piece and add this check manually, and that's what took more time than I expected. Once capture is confirmed, I destroy the enemy piece and reuse the same movement logic to move my piece. After that, I added a turn-based system. White starts and on each turn only one side can move. So white's turn only white pieces can move and black's turn only black pieces can move. I also switch the camera based on whose turn it is. At this point, you can play a complete game of chess. There's no check or checkmate in my game. If you capture the enemy king, you win. I added one thing that no other chess game has. So if you're about to lose and you don't want to lose, you can just press this force draw button and a boulder falls on your chessboard and it's a draw. So technically you'll never lose in my game, so that's one reason to play. And that's the full chess prototype built in Unreal Engine. I'll come up with another game in the next one, so follow for unique game ideas.